I judge your children, judge your wife? Do I care where you are next Friday night? You just sleeping, I just singing to clear my mind. My thoughts, my head, what if I said he may sleep well, but take away the bed? I've been called a lot of things, little things, they don't bring me down. I've been called a lot of things, little things, that just waste the sound. Like you are in the things you wear, babe, music wears you out. I've been called a lot of things, but one of these things is not selling out. I've been called a lot of things, and little things, they don't bring me down. I've been called a lot of things, and little things, whose ways the sound. Oh, like you are in the things you wear, babe, it wears you out. I've been called a lot of things, but one of these things is not selling out. Yeah, yeah. La 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 la.
Hi, I'm Susanna DeBaca. On behalf of Business Publications Corporation, I'd like to welcome you to the Business Record's 21st Annual Women of Influence Award. Last year, many of you joined us for our 20th awards ceremony and our 20th anniversary celebration events, powerful in-person gatherings where we enjoyed each other's company. This year, we are virtual, but we have an equally powerful and inspiring program for you, one that reflects the profound changes in our world as a result of the pandemic and economic disruption. 2020 has been an unprecedented year, one that has required resilience, courage, perseverance, and strength. In short, the types of attitudes and behaviors that define women of influence. No one personifies those characteristics more than our fearless leader, Connie Weimer. She has been a trailblazing female leader in our community who continues to show us the way. While we formally recognize a group of accomplished women like Connie here today, we appreciate more than ever the countless women from all walks of life all around us who influence us and inspire us. Regardless of role, of age, or community, we are so fortunate to have leaders who pave the way every day for future female leaders. You will meet some of those leaders here today, and I am sure that you will be as inspired by them as I have been. Before we start, however, I want to take a moment to thank the Business Record team, led by publisher Chris Konetsky and associate editor Emily Barsky. The entire team has worked tirelessly to bring you this event as well as the special issue of the Business Record with photos and profiles of our honorees. I just can't rave enough about the Business Record team, who have their finger on the pulse of today's world. Over the past year, and certainly over the last several months, they have been acutely aware that the world is rapidly changing, and for diverse communities and for women in particular. To respond to those changes and challenges ahead, specifically for women, we've done surveys and focus groups to understand how to better provide you with timely, relevant news and information to help you navigate your career and your life. So in addition to working on today's program and many other things, the Business Record team has also been creating a redesign and rebrand of Lift Iowa, our statewide newsletter for women. We have made an investment in a specific resource dedicated to our reporting and initiatives around women, a talented journalist named Emily Blowbaum. Keep your eye out in the fall when we will unveil a new look, name, and feel for that product, one that we hope will help you to be happy and successful. We hope to touch younger and more diverse women across the entire state as they become influential women at every step of their journey. And now let's get started with our program. To kick things off is our presenting sponsor, McKee, Voorhees, and Sees.
Hello, and thank you all for joining us to celebrate the 2020 honorees at this year's Des Moines Business Record Women of Influence event. My name is Cassie Edgar, and I'm a partner and chair of the Regulatory Law Practice Group at McKee, Voorhees, and Sees, an IP boutique law firm here in Des Moines. Iowa has always been a leader in advocating for women. When Iowa entered into statehood in 1846, it was the second state in the country to allow women to own property. In 1857, the University of Iowa was the first state university in the country to allow women into degree programs, and when Iowa State was founded in 1858, it started off as a coeducational institution right off the bat. The first woman to become a lawyer in the United States was Arabella Mansfield. Arabella grew up in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, and graduated from Iowa Wesleyan College in 3 years as valedictorian. Encouraged by the love of her life to pursue her ambition to study law, she apprenticed in her brother's law office and passed the bar exam with high scores. Unfortunately, at the time, the Iowa Code authorized only male persons to be admitted to the bar. She successfully challenged that law and was sworn in as the first female attorney both in Iowa and the United States over 150 years ago in 1869. MVS is a boutique law firm practicing at the intersection of science and law. We were engineers, pharmacists, and scientists before we became lawyers. Because of this dual education requirement, there are fewer female attorneys at IP boutiques compared to general practice firms. According to the legal publication Law 360, women make up less than 25% of attorneys in IP boutiques and a mere 19% of all partners in IP. MBS is proud to continue the legacy of Arabella Mansfield and Iowa's dedication to advocating for women in the legal profession. In contrast to those national statistics for women in IP, at MBS, 40% of our attorneys and 45% of our partners are women, with half of the practice groups chaired by a woman and a female managing partner. We are proud to sponsor the Business Record Women of Influence event this year to recognize and rejoice in the dedication and service of these amazing women. Be inspired by the stories of the 2020 honorees, inspired to lift up and serve each other, celebrate those who embolden the women in their lives to pursue their ambitions, and inspired to make a difference in our community.
Now we will highlight and hear from our Emerging and Women Business Owner of the Year. They will be introduced by our sponsors, Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines and Iowa State University Ivy College of Business.
I'm Chris Williams, President and CEO of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines. We are thrilled to be the new naming sponsor of the Business Records Emerging Women of Influence Award. I would like to start by saying congratulations to Natalia Bochenko for being named the 2020 award winner and also recognizing all of this year's nominees. Your individual and collective contributions to your community are significant and commendable. For those of you who are not familiar with the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines, we are headquartered right here in Des Moines with over 325 employees housed in our downtown office. We are one of 11 federal home loan banks that make up the Federal Home Loan Bank system, which was created by Congress in 1932. And while Congress created us, we are not part of the government and do not receive government funding. The Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines is a member-owned cooperative that provides liquidity to over 1,300 financial institutions across 13 states and 3 U.S. territories. We support mortgage lending, economic development, affordable housing in the communities in which our members serve. Strengthening communities and giving back is central to our mission. One way that we demonstrate our commitment to housing and economic development is by allocating 10% of our net income to affordable housing programs every year. We have awarded over $700 million in grants since the program's inception 30 years ago, which has helped more than 120,000 individuals and families across our district gain safe, secure, and affordable housing. Along with our commitment to strong communities, diversity and inclusion are foundational pillars of the bank's culture. Ensuring that all voices, perspectives, and experiences are heard and valued is incredibly important to me. As a female leader in a predominantly male industry, I have spent my career taking risks and accepting positions that no other woman held before me. I am only the second female to hold the position of president and CEO in the 88-year history of the Federal Home Loan Bank system, and I'm the first here in Des Moines. I have learned from my experiences that women often have to be stronger, faster, and more motivated to advance their careers. I also personally understand the importance of encouraging women in leadership roles, having mentors, and being a trailblazer. That's why at the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines, we actively support our female employees with resources, tools, networking, and especially work through our Women's Business Resource Group. We encourage volunteerism and development as we know these have positive impacts on our organization and our communities. And finally, we recognize the contributions and celebrate the women leaders who are fundamental to our bank's success. We are proud to extend our support and recognition to women who are leading the way here in Des Moines. Congratulations again to Natalia and all the emerging Women of Influence nominees, and best wishes. Leaving her home in Ukraine at 16 years old and traveling 5,000 miles to Iowa alone was a bold move for Natalia Bonchenko. But rather than being the climax of the story, it is simply the beginning. Once in Iowa, she worked full-time while earning her bachelor's degree in finance from Drake University. She ultimately returned to Drake in 2014 to earn her MBA, and she still serves as an adjunct professor there. Upon her graduation from Drake in 2006, she embarked on a career at Holmes Murphy & Associate, the Waukee-based insurance and benefits brokerage firm. She began as an employee benefits consultant before ultimately becoming, at age 30, the youngest shareholder in the company's history. She served as a mentor for the company's Women Optimizing Women, or WOW, mentorship program, and has served as a mentor at the Global Insurance Accelerator in Des Moines. Natalia's skills extend beyond the insurance industry. She serves as on the executive board of Employee and Family Resources, is a graduate of the Greater Des Moines Leadership Institute, and has served as a translator at Camp Hope, which places Russian orphans into families. Suku Radia wrote of Natalia, "Of all of the nominations I've submitted since the inception of the Women of Influence Award, which is at least 25, I can state unequivocally that Natalia is the most deserving. Her clients love her, her colleagues aspire to her level of professionalism, and I imagine there are many who hope and pray their daughters turn out to be just like her." Federal Home Loan Bank Des Moines, in partnership with the Business Record, is proud to recognize Natalia Bonchenko as the 2020 Emerging Women of Influence.
Kожna mova mає слово подяки. That was my childhood language, Ukrainian. And I said, every language has a word for gratitude. Gratitude is what I'm feeling today as I accept this award as 2020 Emerging Women of Influence. Gratitude to Business Record, gratitude to Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines. Gratitude to the most amazing women who have been my life supporters and influencers. Gratitude to the most amazing men who have been my life supporters and influencers. And something tells me they may have some most amazing women who are supporting them and who maybe brought them into this world. Today I'm inspired to share a story about the earliest influencer in my life, my mom. I have always thought of her to be a strong example of a woman of influence. She set the achievement bar high early on. She became a president of a regional bank in Ukraine by the age of 29 in Soviet Union. Naturally, she set a high example for me, but what I knew growing up is anything you can set your mind to, you can achieve. In 1991, Soviet Union collapsed. It happened to be the year I start first grade. Mom, along with my school principal, opened up a specialized school. They focused on languages and science. It will happen to be the school I will get to attend. Those will be the teachers that will prepare me to come to study to the United States with the knowledge of English language and also ability to tutor advanced math and French while in college. It will happen to be one of my primary ways of income during that time. Not only I was prepared well educationally, but Mom supported every dream I had with so much intention. When I dreamt of becoming a TV anchor, she found classes on proper diction. When I dreamt of becoming an international law attorney, she made sure I had everything I needed to learn 2 foreign languages fluently. When I dreamt of going to study in the United States, she bought me the plane ticket that will change my life forever, that will allow me to be who I am. Today I understand what a difficult decision it must have been for her to let her 16-year-old daughter go on her own across the ocean in the pursuit of her American dream. But she trusted in me with utmost confidence, and I didn't know enough to even be afraid. Please join me in thinking of and thanking those special people in your life that made you less afraid, that gave you more confidence, that supported your dreams. But also, let's find those that need our support, our guidance and encouragement. Let's take care of each other on this journey called life. Я вам щиро дякую. Thank you for this honor.
Hello, I'm David Spalding, and I'm the Raisbeck Endowed Dean of the Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business. Even though we're unable to be together in person, it's good to be with you all virtually. The important thing is that we're all safe and well, and that we've come together to celebrate these amazing women of influence. Now, we've all gone through a lot of changes here over the last few months, disruptions in our lives, but there's still many good things for us to celebrate and to talk about. The Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business is truly a college on the move. In 2017, we received a $50 million gift that really has put us in a position to continue to move our students forward towards successful careers and fulfilling lives. One of the things we've been very focused on over the last few years here has been launching more women into successful careers in business. A year ago, we became only the second business school in the country ranked in the top, with a full-time MBA program ranked in the top 50, to have 50% or more of our incoming class made up of women. A really great accomplishment for us. And we set the table for that by hiring more women faculty. In fact, we've gone from last in the Big 12 in terms of percentage of our faculty who are women to first in the Big 12 in the percentage of our faculty who are women. If you want more women in the classroom, it's important to have more women in the front of the classroom and more women leading in your college, and we've made that commitment. At the Ivy College of Business, we continually evaluate our programs. We listen to industry about what they're looking for. We listen to our students about what directions they're interested in taking. This has led us over the last 3 years to add a new major in entrepreneurship, a new major in actuarial science, and a major in business analytics. We've also added minors in business analytics and business technical consulting. And we've added a sales certificate for undergraduates all across our campus. We combine quality curriculum and internationally known faculty and a welcoming atmosphere to create an unmatched business education. In addition to everything I've mentioned, we also offer master's degree programs designed for busy working professionals in business analytics and in a master's of real estate development as well. Our full-time MBA program is ranked #1 in the state of Iowa. And our part-time MBA program in Des Moines has been voted best in Des Moines the last 2 years. As you can tell, I'm passionate about business and helping our students succeed. That's why we're honored to sponsor the Business Owner of the Year as part of this Women of Influence event. This year's honoree is a great example of a successful leader in business. Teresa Adams-Tomka is something of a trendsetter. Her business, Kitchen Collage, was one of the first retail establishments to locate in the now revitalized East Village area of Des Moines. At the time, the area was known more for rundown buildings and a few bars, but the vision of what the neighborhood could be is what led her to relocate her successful business to the up-and-coming neighborhood. She has shared that vision with others, serving as a key ambassador for the area and helping convince the likes of Salon Spa W and Raygun to set up shop there as well. 20+ years in the retail business is a long time, but Teresa and Kitchen Collage continue to find ways to carve out their niche, whether through specialty products, a keen focus on customer service, events, or activating her core clientele. The company continues to remain strong and vibrant as consumer buying habits evolve. As if owning and operating a retail shop isn't enough, Teresa served as a board member of the Downtown Community Alliance for over 10 years. She's a board member of the historic East Village Foundation, Friends of Des Moines Parks and Recreation, and the president and founder of the Des Moines chapter of LDEA Les Dames. She did all of that while raising 4 children. China Wong writes of Teresa, quote, "Over the last 14 years, Teresa has become a trusted advisor and confidant in business and in life. She always has wise advice that is delivered with care, yet no nonsense. Her perspective on life is one of pragmatism for the hardships, celebrations of the sweet things in life, and always, always humor. Her life has been shaped by some of the toughest experiences, yet I find her filled with gratitude and joy," unquote. The Debbie and Jerry Ivy College of Business and the Business Record are proud to recognize Teresa Adams-Tomka as the 2020 Women Business Owner of the Year. Congratulations, Teresa.
Thank you to Connie Weimer, the Business Record Lift Iowa, and Susanna DeBaca for the support of women in business and this community. Thank you to the sponsors of this event, and thank you to the strong advocate in the community, Jan Freed. Thank you to those who supported my nomination, my dearest friends, fellow business owners, and women with strengths that I have leaned on over the years. They are formidable voices that have impacted my life. And congratulations to all 2020 honorees, the powerful, the strong, and the resilient. When preparing my remarks for this event, I considered what I could say today to inspire or impact those listening. As a mother of 5 and a grandmother of 4, a lot is going on each day. For me, the hectic schedule took a new level of difficulty when the COVID-19 pandemic settled into our world in early March. I registered in my head March 16th as the day in which everything before was the same and everything after became different. March 16th was the same seismic, life-changing feel as the day my husband Jim died. It's a boom, a cosmic meat hammer to the head kind of day. These days are terrible, but it was a reminder that they exist, and it would be once again time to adapt to a new reality and shift my thinking. As a Des Moines East Village entrepreneur in business for over 20 years, market forces have the feeling of incremental impacts. A new product line, a new product source, or a change to a vendor's product mix are slowly changing dimensions that require adjustments. Adjustments to the risk, I assume, an increase in investment, tweaks to overhead, a slight alteration in business strategy. Pandemics and the loss of a spouse are a fast-changing dimension that has a close your eyes and hold on to something feel. They are days that narrow your field of view and force you to recreate and reinvent yourself. In my life, I've been set in new directions repeatedly. Those losses have come professionally and personally. Once I catch my breath, I consider my fresh perspective and start to chart an adjusted path. Necessity is the mother of all invention. I was reminded of my fresh perspective this morning by one of my road friends and trainer, Sarah. She had commented to me that the more we neglect things, the more difficult they become. Sarah put it into context of our bodies, its neural pathways, and our holistic health. But I consider it a metaphor for the world today. The COVID-19 pandemic, Black Lives Matter's protest, and community health struggles did not appear out of thin air, but are a result of neglect from within. They felt like they came on fast. But when you look at them from start to finish, it has been a slow build that ranges from decades to centuries. All of this is overwhelming, but this moment requires our attention, and it is paramount that we address neglect. So let me bring it down to my level of thinking. I ask myself, how can I be a change agent? How do I dial in and register my voice within the community? The answers I'm coming up with right now, at this moment, are to advocate for more diversity within my community and to think big on building ingenuity and growth. As my friend Dick Deming of Above and Beyond Cancer says on our mountain trips, just take one more step. This will help us to get closer to a new path, a new direction, an improvement on the day, the month, and the year. In closing, I want to thank all of you for this honor again, and please remember to vote.
What is one word to describe me? Well, I'm going to give you 2 words, and I would say energetic and enthusiastic.
Integrity.
I thought the answer would be hardworking, but that's 2 words. I think the word I landed on is intentional.
Definitely organized, but also passionate.
Advocate.
Enthusiastic. Hardworking.
Happy.
Compassionate.
Resilient.
Mary Andringa is the chair of the board of Vermeer Corporation, a global industrial and agricultural equipment company headquartered in Pella, Iowa. While the manufacturing business may not be known for having a lot of women leaders, Mary has excelled, becoming a sought-after leader in business associations both in and out of the manufacturing sector. On a statewide level, she currently serves as the chair of the Iowa Business Council, a nonprofit that is made up of the chief decision makers from Iowa's top 23 employers and has held many key roles within the Iowa Association of Business and Industry. On an international scale, she has provided leadership on small business and entrepreneurship for the B20, the private sector channel that provides input to the G20, the international group of representatives from the governments and banks of 19 countries and the European Union. Mary is active with a variety of boards, serving as director of the Vermeer Charitable Foundation, on the board of the Herman Miller Company, director of Milliken and Company, and as a trustee of Fuller Theological Seminary in Pasadena, California. The Business Record is proud to recognize Mary Andringa as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
I am very honored and humbled to be included in this Women of Influence class. And congratulations to all my other fellow honorees. I want to thank the Business Record and the sponsors who really are elevating the importance of women in our state. I have been influenced by so many people in my life. My family, extended family, my friends, colleagues, official and unofficial mentors, and I can't possibly name them all, but just to name a few, I have been so appreciative of the lessons I learned on practical leadership from my dad, on the lessons I learned from my mom on living out your faith, and from both of them, the importance of generosity. And to my husband of 49 years, Dale, thank you for your support and encouragement, as well as to our adult children who encouraged me also in my career when sometimes they were off with other important things in their lives during their high school years. When I think about influence, to me it's a couple of things. One, it's certainly modeling a good lifestyle, work-life balance, leadership in whatever we're involved in. But it's also being able to share our experiences with others through either informal or formal mentoring. I had an informal mentor who once said, a bird doesn't sing because it has all the answers. A bird sings because it has a song. And we all have songs. We all have our own life experiences, the things we've learned, our failures, how we've overcome barriers. And if we can share that with someone else who's maybe going through a similar time in their life, then that's pretty special. Another thing I've tried to do, don't do it perfectly, through my life is to give people feedback. So it might be in the form of an email or a text or a phone call or a one-on-one conversation, or it might be a handwritten note. Just to say thank you or congratulations, well done, or to give encouragement to that person who's going through a tough time. My husband and I have been blessed by a good friend who has coached us as we enter our third phase of life, and that's that period post full-time work, on how we have three paths we can choose from in this period of life. We can choose to be indifferent, we can choose to be indulgent, which means it's only about me, or we can choose to be influential. No doubt we go in and out of all those three paths, but we are trying hard to be intentional about using the life lessons we've learned, the experiences, maybe our kind of unique abilities, and also where we have true passion to be influential in the lives of others. So may we all be influential to those around us who mean so much to us. And again, thank you.
I hope
when others interact with me, that they can see that I'm genuine and that I'm compassionate about making a difference and helping others.
I want people to walk away from any interaction knowing that I'm going to do what I say I will do.
More than anything, others are encouraged by me.
I want people to know that there are always a set of possibilities. We have choices, we make them, and that means that we can make a difference in our lives.
I share my enthusiasm and my energy so that they can pursue the passion they want to pursue.
That I can bring them some happiness, maybe some joy, maybe I can make their lives a little bit easier.
I would like my enthusiasm to be contagious, but that's the only thing I would like to be contagious at this point.
I hope when people come in contact with me, they walk away heard, cared for, and loved.
Either they're going to get a smile from me or I'm going to get a smile from them. So just something positive.
I would hope that they get empathy and they get information.
Judge Ramonda Belcher. After serving 15 years as an assistant Polk County attorney, Judge Ramonda Belcher was appointed to the bench on August 20th, 2010, becoming the first African American female judge in the history of the state of Iowa. Born in North Carolina and a graduate of Howard University, Judge Belcher made her way to Central Iowa to attend Drake Law School. Even then, her dream was to become a judge. 25 years into her career, she is living that dream as a judge in the 5th Judicial District, overseeing juvenile and family treatment court. Even though she generally sees people after they've made bad decisions, she feels it's important that everyone feels that they are heard. She says, "I think it's important for me that when a person leaves my courtroom, they've had an opportunity to be heard. They feel like they were treated fairly. They feel like they were treated with respect, and they were treated with compassion." Despite her demanding schedule, Judge Belcher has been active in several local organizations over the years, including the Langston Hughes Company Players, the Des Moines chapter of the Lynx, the Des Moines University Glanton Scholarship Board, and the Iowa Arts Council. The Business Record is proud to recognize Judge Ramonda Belcher as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
Good afternoon. Thank you for that introduction. I am honored to stand here with other phenomenal women who are committed to making a difference and blazing trails in their own respective disciplines. I thank Connie Weimer, Susanna DeBaca, and Stacy Thompson, and the Business Record family for selecting me as a woman of influence. I give my deepest gratitude to Terry Caldwell Johnson for advancing my name for consideration, and to those who provided letters of support, Jerry Anderson, Roxanne Conlon, and Henry Hamilton. Those are my champions among many. They continue to have confidence in me and continue to push me to blaze even more trails. My biggest champion is my mother, and I know she's watching. So Mom, I would never lose an opportunity to thank you for the love, for the sacrifices that you've made, and for the examples of strength you continue to show. You have shown me many lessons about compassion, life, and opportunity. I always say that you taught me the most valuable lessons in understanding why my education was so important and being grounded in my faith. Those life lessons gave me the audacity to believe that I could accomplish any goal that I set for myself, even if it meant being a trailblazer. I thank my family, friends, and colleagues who have lifted me. I recognize and acknowledge the past women of influence and those who stand with me for your leadership and the example that you have set. You have blazed a path for me and many others. And just as I stand on the shoulders of Arabella Mansfield and Gertrude Rush and walk in the footprints of Willie Stevenson Glanton, I know there will be other young women who will follow me. And to those young women who will follow, I wish to challenge you. I challenge you to ask yourselves, why am I here? What is your purpose? Ask yourselves, what gives me joy? What is your passion? And then I want to encourage you to know that you can accomplish any goal that you set for yourself, and encourage you to keep pushing and fighting until your dreams becomes your reality. Know that it takes you to be driven with purpose and with passion in order for you to be phenomenal. And know that making a difference is a choice. If perhaps the path is not straight, or perhaps there's no path at all to your destination, I want you to know that you can create and carve out your own path. Yes, blazing trails will be difficult, but it is absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary in order for you to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or of something in order for you to be of influence. I am very thankful for this opportunity to stand before you as a 2020 Woman of Influence. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Susan Beck, and I'm honored to be here and be part of the Women of Influence honorees ceremony. I've always been a proponent of lifelong continuous learning, and today we'll be learning from 8 amazing women that are honorees of the Women of Influence. We'll be learning today about international entrepreneurship. We'll be learning about compassion and justice, mental health and wellness. We'll be learning about how we plant seeds of lifelong learning into our teachers and our students in public schools. We will learn about holistic restoration, hope, and self-worth restored that was stolen from young girls. We'll learn about providing for special children in ways that let them be kids. We'll learn about culinary excellence and instruction, and most importantly, critical thinking skills that help people interact with each other respectfully. I think that you'll enjoy hearing from our honorees tonight, and we're just very thankful that you are here to help support them. And this is a very different format than we've had in the past, but it'll be very exciting. Thank you very much.
Teresa Baumhoff is the chairperson of the Iowa Mental Health Planning Council and is recognized as one of Iowa's most knowledgeable and strongest advocates for those experiencing mental illness in the state. She was originally involved with NAMI Greater Iowa, originally acting as their expansion founder and president, and now serving on the board of directors. James Cornick, her nominator, writes, "In my opinion, no one has positively impacted the mental health issues with more commitment, persistence, and dedication than one Teresa Baumhoff." Others agree. George Essel, retired CEO of Tanager Place, writes of Baumhoff, "Iowa has always struggled with making an investment in mental health services. Those of us in the field have long recognized the tremendous amount of sheer will and energy that is required to accomplish even the slightest improvement. That Teresa has maintained her level of commitment for so many years is incredible. She has been a role model for all of us." Teresa's list of other community involvement is equally as impressive. League of Women Voters, Veterans Advisory Council, Iowa Rural Health Association, ACES Policy Coalition. The list is truly too long to include them all. The Business Record is proud to recognize Teresa Baumhoff as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
I am honored and humbled to be designated a woman of influence. It is necessary to acknowledge the work of the passionate people and organizations who have in the past and are working today to have a mental health and primary health system which is equitable to all. There are so many people doing great advocacy work and educational work. Many thanks to all of you. For all of you who have been affected by mental illness, I see you. In all likelihood, we have had similar feelings and experiences. In the beginning of my journey 20 years ago, when both my children became ill, we were scared and didn't know who to trust. Mental illness struck our family full force in the face. It was a turning point for our family. No more assuming everyone had good health. No more assurance of what the future would bring. In the beginning, you are in a state of shock, feel completely overwhelmed and isolated, and you lose your center of gravity. Little did we know we were to embark on a roller coaster together through changing diagnoses, different medications, the heartbreaking loss of friends and family who turned away, limited information and empathy on how to navigate the culture of mental health care, given up by an educational system which lost prized pupils. As a parent, you wonder where things went wrong. Why did this happen to my kids? How can I fix it? How can I help them to get better? How can I protect them from a world that may not appreciate them as human beings and will too often be cruel, uncaring, and sarcastic? Will there be other people who will still embrace them and love them and not blame them for their illness? And who's going to tell me what to do next? When I began to approach legislators at the Capitol, I was hesitant and worried they would not care. It was encouraging when some of them said, "You've got to bring more people to us. There are too few people drawing attention to this issue." And through the years, their wish was granted. The projects I chose to work on, the organizations I chose to join, and the responsibilities I undertook were motivated by the struggles of my children and the many individuals and families in the same predicament. How can we comfort them? Where are the resources they need? How can our system be reshaped to meet their needs? I have no regrets volunteering my time to move the status of mental illness forward. Has there been a change of attitude towards mental health since 1999 when my kids developed their illness? Absolutely. Have there been improvements to the mental health system? Absolutely. Do we have more to accomplish? A resounding yes. Who can be satisfied with facts like these? Iowa is 45th in the nation for mental health workforce availability. A stunning lack of mental health parity exists. Reimbursements to mental health providers is consistently less than primary health providers. This makes recruitment and retention extremely difficult. 60% of adults with mental illness and more than half of youth with severe emotional disorder do not get services in a given year. There has never been an adequate nor a sustainable funding strategy for the adult and children's mental health system. 6 times as many people die by suicide in Iowa annually than by homicide. Iowa's suicide rate has increased by 36% since 1999 for both youth and adults. We have criminalized mental illness. Let me say it another way. We have criminalized a medical illness. It would never be tolerated if we treated people with cancer or diabetes or any other medical illness the same way we treat those with mental illness. So the journey continues. We need to keep asking the hard questions and not be complacent in our demands. In conclusion, please know that you are not alone. The illness is not your fault. And most importantly, never give up hope. Some days will be better than others. Believe your lives will be better. Reach out for help. Be a proud member of your community. I have been inspired by my children's courage. Today, my children are living lives of happiness and managing their illnesses. We have been blessed. Please respect the courage of all who are affected by mental illness. Thanks again for the tremendous honor you have bestowed upon me.
One of the biggest challenges that I've overcome was my own family background. I came from a conflicted family around gender issues, around violence, around alcoholism, very, very poor education, and low self-esteem. To add that on to the life of a young person, a young girl, is very difficult.
I don't know that we really overcome death, but we move through it.
Giving up the notion that I am in control of anything.
Leading through 2 really tough economic downturns.
Coming from a small town in North Carolina to a state in the Midwest that had over 150 years of court history to actualize a dream of becoming a judge.
Breaking a few glass ceilings and
Not to be afraid to speak up in meetings and to be comfortable speaking in front of others. It's
Being a working mother.
Learning how the Iowa mental health system was set up, how it all connected.
Coming to the United States and being able to ground yourself well in another country.
I'd like to think it was my presence in the East Village and the challenges that go with small businesses in areas that maybe are being revitalized. But I'd like to think that it's just the courage of being there.
If you have a school-age child in the state of Iowa, chances are they have been affected in some way by the work of Mary Jane Cobb. She is the executive director of the Iowa State Education Association, the organization that represents teaching professionals in Iowa. In this role, she not only advocates for teachers, but emphasizes keeping kids at the center of all decisions around public education. Mary Jane has been the executive director of the ISE8 since 2008. Her influence has not gone unnoticed. Connie Ryan of the Interfaith Alliance Rights of Cobb. There is no better advocate to stand up and speak out for our state's most important professionals, Iowa's public school teachers. Whether fighting for funding for public schools so that all children in Iowa receive a top-notch education, or standing up for worker rights side by side with her male colleagues in labor. When Mary Jane speaks, the men sit down and listen. Mary Jane also gives time and talents to the United Way of Central Iowa, Emerge Iowa, and the Iowa Democratic Party, among others. The Business Record is proud to recognize Mary Jane Cobb as the 2020 Woman of Influence.
Thank you, Susanna. I appreciate your kind words. I am incredibly humbled by this recognition, particularly because it's given by the Business Record, an organization that's led by 2 women I greatly admire, Connie Weimer and Susanna DeBaca. Thank you also to the Business Record staff. I can only imagine how much work it took to pull an event like this off, and you all have been amazing to work with. The other women that are being honored here today have made tremendous impacts on our community, and I am so pleased to be among their ranks. I want to thank my dear friends and colleagues that add their voice to my nomination. Your faith in me makes me want to be a better person. I love that the name of this recognition is Women of Influence. Women are such a strong force within our community, and honoring our impact and our collective voice allows for us to have expanded influence. I'm fortunate that I have the honor of working for some of the most influential people in our community, our educators. I am always proud that they rise to any occasion and do whatever it takes to support and nurture their students. In these challenging and troubling times, they're being asked to do that now more than ever. They're being asked to provide learning and emotional support and stability. I want you to know that I'm proud of all of you. No one receives a recognition like this without the help of countless others. I'm grateful to the dedicated staff of the Iowa State Education Association for all of your support and encouragement of public educators and public schools across our state. Our president, Mike Baranek, and our other elected member leaders give a strong, powerful educator voice to our work every day. I have a wonderful support network of family and friends that have helped shape who I am and the work that I do today. And most notably among them, I am blessed to have the wise counsel and support of my husband, John Outkelt. He makes me smarter a lot of the time, and he makes difficult days easier to bear. As a lifelong advocate and organizer, I have to end today with a request of you. I need you to look around your community, and I need you to find something that needs your attention and your talents. And then I need you to stand up, and I need you to be heard. Our communities will be better because of your advocacy and because of your influence. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mary Van Hukel. I'm the Program Director for Above and Beyond Cancer. On behalf of Dr. Deming, the founder of Above and Beyond Cancer, and our organization, congratulations to the Women of Influence being recognized this year, including Teresa Adams-Tomka, who has been a member of our board and volunteer since the birth of Above and Beyond Cancer in 2011. That year, our very first team of survivors and caregivers trekked to the base camp of Mount Everest, and that team included the resilient and humble support of Teresa. Teresa, a natural chef, has also co-led our nutrition and cooking classes for the last 3 years. Since 2011, we have led cancer survivors and caregivers on transformational journeys that include medical missions. These journeys have taught us that leadership sprouts in many ways, and sometimes with sacrifice and suffering. As we know, this year has been different. In the midst of delaying and postponing programs, our organization has stayed grounded in our mission to elevate the lives of people touched by cancer to create a healthier world. We offer weekly evidence-based programs, now virtually, or socially distanced outdoors that promote the optimal living of survivors and the community. We will continue to serve in responsible and creative ways so survivors and caregivers can connect, thrive, and grow in mind, body, and spirit. Speaking of, on Sunday, October 11th, Above and Beyond Cancer is hosting its second annual Elevate Festival in the Waterworks Park Lordston Amphitheater. Join us to rock out a 5K walk or run and wind down with yoga, meditation, and live music. We believe that everyone has the potential to live above and beyond, and we're honored to serve cancer survivors and caregivers in Central Iowa. We're also proud to honor all the women of influence in 2020. Congratulations to all the women in leadership who are living above and beyond and serving our community. Thank you.
Kelly Markey. In 2012, Kelly Markey moved back to Des Moines following a successful career in marketing that included a stint as Vice President of Global Direct Marketing and Vice President of International for eBay. Upon her return, she began volunteering with teen girls in crisis, which ultimately led to her becoming a foster parent. Over the next few years, Kelly was flipping houses around Des Moines. In 2014, her passion for helping teen girls and her real estate acumen came together, and she purchased a location that she felt could serve as a place for her to make a difference. Fast forward to 2016, and Dorothy's House opened its doors. Dorothy's House is a 2-home campus designed to provide a holistic approach to victims of severe sexual abuse and assault and sex trafficking, so they can live and achieve healthy, happy, productive lives. Robert Brownell, Polk County Supervisor, writes of Kelly. Kelly had the vision years ago to do something to rescue trafficked girls and help them recover into a self-sufficient life. The house is financed almost solely by private charitable donations. This is tough work, and no one bats 1,000 in it. Nevertheless, Kelly has had some terrific and yes, inspiring success stories. Her private sector experience and her heart for the work she's doing is not only effective, but unique. The Business Record is proud to recognize Kelly Markey as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
Standing in a small room with a small group of people today in front of a camera, I'm feeling a little bit like the Business Record is playing a joke on me, especially when I look at the company they suggest that I am in for this year's Women of Influence. Among them are some of my heroes in this community, so I'm very grateful to be included. I want to thank the Business Record for always keeping their finger firmly on the pulse of the most important topics in our community, and for the small team of people who worked so hard to make this event meaningful during such complicated times. I need to thank Jason, who nominated me for this award, for his steady confidence in me and our mission, as well as the people who wrote letters of support. I am certain they had someone else in mind when they wrote those letters. Our home has been abuzz all year with volunteers who are helping keep our property beautiful for our participants. They are part of an expansive community who show up and remind us every day that what we do is worth it. I have to thank my mom for her friendship, support, and frequent meal delivery that has meant so much to me, especially during times when so many emotions are unfamiliar. I'm deeply grateful to my board, who are not only ready to help whenever I need it, but people I count on among my friends. Shannon, Lindsay, Kayla, Dawn, and Malia, these are the ladies who deserve to be held up today, and most because they show up every day in support of our participants and helping keep them on their healing journeys. An experiment like Dorothy's House does not work unless an entire community gets behind it and agrees it's important. For us, the resounding love, support, and encouragement that we continue to receive, especially from organizations like Broadlawns, Gloria Day, Polk County, and countless others who give what they have or what they do to support us. It's all the assurance that we need that it's important to continue to find ways to prop up the most vulnerable people in our community. Now, more than ever, I'm grateful for this kind of recognition that simply reminds me and the team at Dorothy's House to keep going. With this support, we look forward to expanding our reach and numbers in the space of serving survivors of human trafficking. Thanks very much.
Let me tell you, for 30 years, to do the work that gets people who are different into the rooms and their voices at the table has been a wonderful, rewarding work, but it certainly is not enough. And I think today, in knowing that I have gotten people to understand that anti-racism is not personal, that it's institutional, that it is all of our responsibility, whether you were targeted or not, I have moved that needle, and many people see it as an American as apple pie to do the anti-racism work that our country now needs so that we can remain the democracy that I believe it can be.
Basically introducing my students in Central Iowa to the importance of global education. They realize that seeing other places really does give them a new perspective. It really is a life-changing experience.
I think that tens of thousands of people across the state of Iowa are aware of the social injustice of human trafficking because of all of the talking that I have done.
Getting information out to a lot of different groups that hadn't heard about mental health before or hadn't been concerned about it.
Having an understanding of trauma so that we don't re-victimize those people, those individuals that we serve.
Supporting my clients and helping their employees be healthy.
Continuous improvement, trying to pave the way for other women to come behind me.
Variety installed the very first inclusive playground here in the city of Des Moines, and playgrounds that are not now being installed are all inclusive, and there is no question about what an inclusive playground is.
Sherry McMichael, passionate, tireless, energized leader. These are just a few of the words used to describe Sherry McMichael, Executive Director of Variety, the children's charity. Variety is dedicated to improving the lives of children who are at risk, underprivileged, critically ill, or living with special needs. Through Sherry's leadership, they are doing just that. Since she joined Variety in the year 2000, the organization has raised over $73 million. Aside from being distributed to qualified children's charities across the state, these funds have allowed the growth of the Variety Mobility Program, which provides 1,000 traditional bicycles and 50+ forms of modified mobility equipment to children each year. It has also allowed Sherry to spearhead the creation of 3 inclusive playgrounds across central Iowa. Sherry deserves the lion's share of the credit. Jerry Nugent wrote of McMichael, "Sherry's success at Variety is due to her incredible hard work, together with her skilled management abilities. She is a role model for everyone in the philanthropic community and leads by her hard work and example. Reynold Kramer from Fairway writes, "No matter what the situation, Sherry will get it done and get it done right." The Business Record is proud to recognize Sherry McMichael as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
Thank you. I am honored to be named one of the 2020 Women of Influence, and am happy that you are here to share in this occasion. I am humbled to have my work recognized by the Des Moines Business Record and in our community to be a member of this wonderful group. It means so much to know that the work I am passionate about also resonates with others. A big congratulations to the other women being recognized, and thank you for all that you do for our community. This recognition is not something that I did alone, and there are so many who deserve to share in this honor. People who have provided me with guidance and inspiration throughout my career, including the children and families who have benefited from Variety's efforts. If I started naming everyone, we would be here all night, so I won't do that. But I would like to recognize two women that have played a role in my career over the last 20 years. Jody Reynolds. I know many of you had the honor and privilege of knowing this amazing woman. Her wisdom, love, and kind words will live with me forever, and I'm a much better person for knowing Jody. But if you were a part of Jody's life, you are a part of the whole Reynolds family, and I am so grateful that they have embraced me and allowed me to lead an organization that has and will be a part of their lives forever. And Rosalie Gallagher, where do I begin? When I first met Rosalie, I wondered who this woman was. It was full of energy, passion, and fun. I knew immediately that I needed and wanted her to continue to be a part of the Variety team. But more importantly, I wanted her to be a part of my life. I'm honored to call her my friend, confidant, and mentor. She has taught me so much over the years, and yes, we've had a little fun along the way. Okay, maybe a lot of fun. Rosalie, you're one of a kind, and I'm grateful for your inspiration, friendship, and love. I would also like to thank my husband Mark and son Sam for their love and support as I've pursued my passion of making our community a better place, especially for children. They have always been so understanding of the long hours, late nights, weekends, and I couldn't have been a part of Variety Children's Charity without the two of them. Of course, we all know that the foundation of who we are begins as a child. And I'm so fortunate to have grown up in Des Moines with two amazing parents, Joyce and Dale Gast, who led by example, and my twin brothers, Brent and Bruce. Last but not least, thank you to the Business Record for offering recognition to Central Iowa women like myself. I hope my passion can inspire others, not only in the nonprofit world, but in all walks of life. Remember, if my work can make a difference, so can yours. I'm so lucky to have a job that makes an impact on the lives of children, both directly and indirectly. These children, families, volunteers, donors, board members, and my coworkers all provide me with the inspiration to continue Variety's efforts and to make a positive impact. I am truly humbled and honored. Again, thank you.
Always look for a better way.
If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a chair.
Hold the row to the end. I could always imagine myself in this rowboat with my oar, pushing and pushing, even when my arms are exhausted, even when I feel despaired. Hold my row to the end.
Courage is not having the strength to go on, but going on when you don't have the strength.
You're not alone.
Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it.
Be patient. Results do not happen overnight. And usually if it's something that's that important, you can wait. And when it happens, you'll be very pleased that you did.
Whether you think you can do something or you think you can't do something, you're right.
To know your purpose, follow your passion, and live your dream.
To have fun.
Hi, my name is Abby Kroll, and I'm a tax senior manager in Ide Bailey's Des Moines office. It's great to be here celebrating the impact of these incredible women. especially during such a difficult time when most of the news we hear is so negative. And for me, I appreciate this opportunity to get out of my house for a while and put on something other than a t-shirt and shorts. Eide Bailly is a top 25 CPA firm that offers audit, tax, and a wide variety of related accounting and IT services. We have around 60 people here in Des Moines who enjoy serving this community and would be glad to visit with you regarding your business and individual needs. We're thrilled to continue sponsoring this event as the advancement of women is an issue we as a firm care so much about. Through our first focus program for women, we've developed various training and mentoring opportunities which have helped us maintain a high proportion of women at all levels within the firm. And recently it's landed us on the Accounting Move Project's list of best CPA firms for women and best CPA firms for equity leadership for 2020. Many of us logged on for this event can attest to how this commitment from our firm has helped us in our individual careers. The women being honored today have made such an impact on our community, and one of the benefits of this being a virtual event is that I can watch their stories with my own 2 daughters and my son, as all of these women provide a great example for our next generation. Hopefully we can all follow their lead, strive to be great role models, and find ways to make Greater Des Moines even better. On behalf of everybody at Eide Bailly, congratulations.
Mara Nelson has been a dedicated teacher of English and French at Des Moines Area Community College for nearly 30 years. She has a passion for all things French, from the language to the cuisine, and has shared that passion with students young and old who have the privilege to cross her path. She is the founder, marketer, and fundraiser for the Iowa Culinary Institute's French Chef Exchange and has done so for the past 35 years. In 2019, the Mara G. Nelson Scholarship Fund was established at the Culinary Institute to honor her tremendous dedication to the program. In 2011, then Iowa Senator Tom Harkin nominated Mara for the Ordre de Palme Académique by the Republic of France for her commitment in sharing the French language and culture and the unique chef exchange program she helped create. At that time, Senator Harkin wrote of Nelson, "The Iowa Culinary Institute is a true success in public culinary instruction. Because of Miss Nelson's belief, energy, and passion, many of those chefs are cooking with techniques learned in French kitchens. Far too often, people like her who have devoted their careers to sharing their passion through public education do not get the public recognition they deserve." The Business Record is proud to recognize Mara Nelson as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
First, I would like to thank my dear friend and champion, Joyce Chapman, for nominating me for this award. She is one of my personal women of influence. Susanna DeBacca will verify that I was shocked when I received her call informing me that I had been selected as a recipient. I am thrilled and honored to be a member of such an impressive cohort of female leaders, both past and present. Congratulations to all of the award winners. Thank you also to my friends and colleagues who wrote letters in support of my nomination, including DMAC President Rob Denson. Thank you to everyone at the Business Record, especially Connie Weimer, whom I fondly refer to as La Grande Dame de Des Moines, for she truly is the great lady of this city whose influence is felt throughout the community. Thank you for your friendship and for introducing me to an exceptional group of women at Nexus Executive Women's Alliance who always inspire me. I would also like to recognize the work of the Friends of the French Chefs, a wonderful group of volunteers who helped me raise money for our chef exchange. My greatest thanks go to my husband, Jim Stick, the love of my life, who always reminds me that a little humor puts things into perspective. We have traveled the world together, laughing all the way. I would never have received this award without the support of my entire family, as a lot of the work I've done for the French Chef Exchange took time away from them. Every mother at this event who has worked outside the home knows the choices we make when we schedule a work dinner in my case, a gourmet dinner at the ICI every Thursday night, or a Saturday meeting, or an out-of-town trip. My kids all knew that concerts, sports events, and sometimes award ceremonies in May would be celebrated without Jim and me, as we were in France with the culinary students and donors. For 2 weeks every January, we disappeared as we spent our days and nights hosting visiting French chefs and their wives, while I also interpreted. The good news, of course, is that our children have met wonderful French chefs. But most importantly, they have seen firsthand what it means to do something you love that can change other people's lives and even impact our community. I've always told my children that it's important to choose a career that you feel passionate about. Going to work just to make money will never make you happy. The most successful people in the world are the ones who wake up and are excited about getting to work because they've chosen to do something they love. And if you can manage to make life better for someone else along the way, then you are living beyond your dreams. So thank you to my wonderful blended family, Kimberly in Italy, Alex and Megan in Seattle, Nora and Tyler in Chicago, and Emily and Josh and our little girls, Sylvia and Georgia in Boston. I hope that what I do will once again remind you to follow your dream. We all have spheres of influence. Mine is not in the boardroom, but rather in the classroom. Even as a little girl, I knew the importance of education. My parents, Millie and Eddie Goss, were first-generation Americans. Our family was part of the great American dream as my Jewish grandparents fled Russia in the early 1900s, chased out by the pogroms plaguing their communities. The principal at my mother's high school in Massachusetts told my grandmother that Millie really should go to college. But with 2 sons in the family, there just wasn't enough money to send the girls, no matter how talented. I only wish that in 1939, my mother could have attended a community college. At DMAC, I can help change the lives of students like my mother who are seeking an affordable, quality college education. So to Millie and Eddie, 2 people who modeled how hard work, dedication, and unconditional love can make a good life a great one, I hope you would be proud of who I've become, because it's due to your encouragement to follow my passion and to sow the seeds of joy and hope, never anger and despair. I've been a French professor at DMAC for 34 years now, and in that time I have literally taught thousands of students. How do I influence my students? I try to remind them that although we speak different languages or look at the world from a different political or religious perspective, our similarities as humans far outweigh those differences. By studying other languages and by traveling to other parts of the world, we understand that we should celebrate those differences. They make the world a much more interesting place to live. Teachers are mentors just by what we do, and we don't often realize the impact we make on our students. But when I walk into a restaurant in Des Moines and the chef, a DMAC graduate, comes out and tells me that the inspiration for a dish came from our trip to Corsica, I feel good about that. And do our students inspire and influence us? Yes, of course. My former student, Natalia Boychenko, is receiving an award today as the Emerging Woman of Influence. She is truly an inspiration to all of us, and I am proud to have been one of her teachers. In closing, I hope that you are inspired to follow your passion in life. You might be surprised where it will lead. Merci beaucoup encore une fois. Thank you again.
I think no matter how old we are, we still need to know how to ask for help.
Believe in yourself.
We are so lucky in our community to have leaders that are willing to sit down and meet with young professionals and to guide one of young professionals, give them tips along the way, introductions along the way, and I think that truly is something that our community has wrapped their arms around, and our young professionals should take advantage of that.
I would want young women to know that it's the intangible things and their character and their intellect and their integrity that is self-sustaining. They get to define who they are. and not to let any situation, any disappointment, any person change the person that they know that they are and having the abilities that they have to accomplish whatever they set to accomplish.
A beautiful mentor of mine, Diana Deibler, she puts it as you can't read the label inside the bottle. Find connections outside, make those relationships because those people will come really helpful and handy along the way when you need advice.
It's important to thank people for what they do. And I think that when you're starting out in the world, it's important to realize that a lot of what we do is collaborative. And yes, there are some people who have the ideas and there are some people who put more work into it, but at the end of the day, thank everyone on your team because everyone has done something to put you where you are.
I think the advice I would give to young women and girls trying to find their place in the world is that the world is your place. You don't have to find a particular niche in it. It is yours, and don't dream too small.
To look at what their real purpose is in life and then where they have unique abilities and passions and to see how they can find that perfect fit. They may not find it right away and they should take the chance to try lots of things, to be open to opportunities, to really be able to zero in then when they find their place of purpose and passion.
Pause so that one can be much more clear about the steps they want to take forward.
Never stop learning and to always have a plan, but include change in that plan and embrace it.
Keisha Scott is a force of nature. Her life's work has built an amazing legacy for so many others, especially women, to be inspired and empowered. So writes Daniel Hoffman Zinnel in his nomination of Scott. Keisha Scott is a renowned diversity trainer and consultant, an associate professor of American Studies and Sociology at Grinnell College, and an award-winning writer. She is a founding member of International Capacity Building Services, a cultural competency training team that specializes in human rights workshops and unlearning racism. Keisha is a sought-after speaker on a variety of topics, having appeared on the Black Holocaust on Iowa Public Radio, as a featured speaker at the Iowa Women's March, and as a keynote speaker at the NAACP Freedom Fund Banquet. Her writing is equally accomplished. Her book, Tight Spaces, garnered her not only awards and critical acclaim, but also an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Hoffman Zinnel wrote of Scott, she has the unique ability of connecting with audiences while offering information that is understandable and not complex. The thousands of students she shaped loved her and appreciate her ability to get them to think critically and develop new skills. The Business Record is proud to announce Keisha Scott as a 2020 Woman of Influence.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to say something about this amazing award that I have been bestowed. You know, I remember when I was 14, and the thing that stood out is I had to make a decision whether I wanted power or I wanted influence. And I realized that I wanted influence. And that influence was about using my skills to make a difference in the lives of others. I come from a tradition of African American women who believed that specific duty to lift the race was very important, but also lifting the race also meant the human race. So I found myself in the profession which I thought I could do that the best, and that was teaching. And I have absolutely loved teaching. But the double victory in that teaching was when I began to teach outside of the classroom. So I have traveled all over Iowa, all over the United States and in other countries doing diversity training, and that has made a difference. When I see that light bulb go off in the eyes of people in my community as well as the classroom, I am thrilled that I am making a huge difference. At the end of the day, isn't it about holding one's row to the end? Imagine being in that situation where you know at the end of your life that you've made a difference. I only thank everybody in Iowa for letting me know that that's been part of my experience since I've been here. Again, thank you for giving me a chance to be honored today, and I am honored. My grandchildren know that this is important to me, that I have made a difference. And thank you for letting them know that and being part of the history of this institution. Thank you.
I am so inspired right now by the young people that are leading movements for equity and justice in our country. Brighter days are going to be ahead for all of us.
Making a difference. Every day I have an opportunity to see people and I try to meet them where they are. But if I can assure them that when they walk in my courtroom that they've been treated fairly, that they've had an opportunity to be heard, that they've been treated with compassion, and that they've been treated with respect, that motivates me because I believe that not only is my presence making a difference, but the way I treat others also make a difference.
Seeing firsthand the impact that Variety's dollars are having in our community, because I know at the end of the day the impact that these pieces of mobility are going to have for a little girl that has always been in a wheelchair and to all of a sudden have a stander where she's standing and eye to eye with her peers and, you know, talking with the families, talking about a little boy that was in a wheelchair, could not walk on his own, who's now walking with a gait trainer up to a mile a day. That's the inspiration, and that's what really drives me. And I think about all of those kids and the difference that it's made in their lives.
My students at DMAC, particularly the single moms who come to my class and who put some of my traditional students to shame.
I get inspired by learning.
The knowing that I'm part of something that grows.
To see people finding a place where they are energized and where they're making an impact.
My kids, they're such great people and I'm so proud of them.
Oh, certainly my family, my kids, and really anybody that overcomes barriers in their life. I'm a real sucker for those stories. Pumps me up too. You know, when I think of how they could do it, so why can't I too?
Many days where the mountains that are in front of us seem too high to overcome. And just at those times, something or someone in this community shows up to help us in ways that we need, and it gets us through some really difficult times. So I would sum it up by saying the generosity of this entire community.
I want to thank every one of you for being a part of our 21st Annual Women of Influence Awards. Thank you to the Business Record team again for creating the program and the issue of Business Record that will feature these women, and to all the Business Publications Corporation's colleagues who helped make this program a success. Thank you to our sponsors who have made this event possible. And thanks to you, our readers and our audience today. We hope you were inspired by our honorees in any time, but especially in this unprecedented time. Amazing women like this, but also all of the women that we meet in our daily life can inspire us. We know that pandemics affect women differently, and we are confronting many changes in our world, so we need inspiration more than ever. So I will leave you with a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that speaks to me and maybe to you too. She said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." The challenges we face today are great, but as we have seen from these women today, we can be fearless, not ignoring our fears, but facing them, moving forward, persevering, using the gifts that we have been given to make the world a better place. Thank you for being here today. This concludes our program.
your skirt up, give the world a lap dance. Hat down, don't look 'em in the eyes. Good men don't have a place in showbiz. Change your plans and grease those hands, 'cause money and talk's a little louder than